Barbados, get up.
Good morning Barbados, good morning to you. Good morning, 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 morning. Good morning to you. Good morning Barbados, good morning to you. Good morning Barbados, good morning.
Wake up, wake up, wake up.
Morning to you.
And just like the singer said, I say good morning to you as well. Good morning, everyone. Welcome to today. It's Thursday, the 22nd of January, 2025. I'm Pearson, 2026. What year am I in? 2026. And to all of you, I say good morning. Welcome to the brand new day. Welcome to the brand new opportunity to be. So many times we wake up and we just exist. We need to be. And to be intentional in being means that we have to, one, recognize the source that gives us the power to be, God, and then the responsibility on all of us to reach out to others. That is what strengthens us to be. So today, don't just exist, be. Be something good for someone. Indeed, I encourage all of you to do so. Naturally, I always say good morning to all of you watching us on our streams on Facebook, YouTube, and our website. To each and every one of you, I wish a terrific Thursday. Hope you make the best of today, and thank you so much for sharing the show as well. So talk among yourselves, talk with us as well. We get excited when you see you engage with us. So feel free to do so at any given time on anything we're talking about. As a matter of fact, I have a question of the day coming up. So get ready to engage your brain and your thoughts and your emotions. Also, if you know of something or someone whose story has to be told, you have to tell us about it because you know and we don't. So tell us about it by sending us an email. Be that partner with us. The email address is on your screen. It is morninbarbados@cbc.bb. And to all of you, thank you for being wonderful partners with us. So wherever you are in all the far-flung regions of the world, good day to you. Thank you for making Barbados, Morning Barbados, your choice indeed, and making Barbados your preferred destination as well. It's the day after a public holiday. A lot of you are probably waking up dazed trying to figure, what's the day again? It's not Saturday. It is Thursday, as a matter of fact. So get up, get going. Hope you had a lovely yesterday, Barrow Day. I saw a lot of you out and about on the street. I too was. And so therefore, I hope that it was a really enjoyable day for each of you. I spent time with family and friends. What did you do with your time yesterday? How did you use the time you had yesterday? All that you have is today. So in your today, which was yesterday, how did you spend your time? In what way did you use your brain to contemplate for just a moment the meaning of life and living and your contribution? Think about that today. And while you're thinking, let me give you today's question of the day. The question of the day is looking at technology and the Caribbean. The question is on your screen. Is the Caribbean moving too slowly on technology or artificial intelligence? Are we in the Caribbean moving way too slowly? And then with whom do we compare ourselves? We tend to want to compare ourselves with our bigger neighbors to the north. So are we in the Caribbean moving too slowly in technology or artificial intelligence? Could it be, yes, your answer, that we're falling behind? Could your answer be we are moving at the right pace? Is your answer we should be cautious about how we adopt artificial intelligence? Or I just don't know enough about artificial intelligence. Be honest with yourselves. And so respond to me by calling me on 228-5562 or 228-5563. I'd love to read your comments as well. So whatever your thoughts are, express them right now. Is the Caribbean moving too slowly on technology or artificial intelligence? Do you think we should have been much farther than we are at the moment? And if so, tell me why you think so. Are you in agreement? Yes, we're falling behind. Is it that you think we're moving at the right pace? We're just doing everything right. We're creating all the safeguards. Is it that we should be a lot more cautious? We're moving too quickly. What do you think? Or you just don't know enough about artificial intelligence. And I know there's a segment of our society that is asking themselves as well, what is artificial intelligence? We'll delve into that a little later on as well, because there are a couple of gentlemen who have chaired a task force, and we'll take a look at this, and we'll talk a little bit more about that and looking at the ramifications of the Caribbean later on in the show. Pat Ben, good morning to you as well. A happy Q Day to you as well. She says good morning to the crew. We wish the very same to you, Pat, as well. Pam Smith, how you doing? Thank you for watching from the United Kingdom as well. Have yourself a terrific today. Sweet Rons, morning Sweet Rons, a thankful Thursday morning back at you. Have yourself the best of what the day has to offer. Thank you so much for commenting. Slender Glenda, my girl, Slender Glenda, good morning. She says good morning to all on board. She's wishing all a thankful Thursday. And I'm glad you reminded us each Thursday, if for no other day, to be thankful today. Marcia Rock, good morning to you as well. She says good morning to all of the beautiful people watching this thankful Thursday. She wants us all to be safe indeed. Andrew, Joe Jackman, how are you doing? Joe Jackman, we grew up in the same area of Hope Road in St. Lucie. That's Andrea Jackman there. She's watching from the United Kingdom. Joe, good to see you. Have yourself a terrific day as well. Thank you for waking up to keep us company on Morning Barbados. So good to see Joe. Been a while, girl. So, is the Caribbean moving too slowly on artificial intelligence or general technology? What do you think? 228-5562, 228-5563. Call me right now. I'd love to hear. I want to hear your voice. I want to hear your thoughts. I want to hear your thinking. I want to hear your. What do you think, really? Tell me the truth. Is it that we're falling behind? Do you really think that way? Do you think we're moving at the right pace, that we have all that we need to do, so in other words, steady but slow? Is that it for you? Should we be more cautious? Are we moving way too fast and we need to slow down just a little bit and pay a little more attention to caution? Or is it truthfully, you don't know enough about artificial intelligence? You're duped by some of the things you see. What is it for you? Is the Caribbean moving too slowly on technology or artificial intelligence? Coming up as well, we'll be hearing a little bit more about a woman whose mission is to continue to raise awareness about cervical cancer. She's lived it, not her, but her mother has, and her mother has lived her life in such a way that her daughter continues her legacy in a significant way, which is to continue to bring awareness about cervical cancer. We'll talk to her a little bit more about that. We'll also meet a woman today who is leading a ministry, a very powerful ministry. I want you to stick around to hear her story. It's a really life-changing opportunity, and I don't want you to miss it indeed. We'll also today be talking to a man who rubs shoulders with some of the best of the region. Yes, culturally. But how did that opportunity come about? We want to hear a little bit more about her and how he guides the creative process as well. We can't wait to talk to him in just a moment, but I want to hear from you. 228-5562 or 228-5563. Your comments, you can write them in our comments section on YouTube or our Facebook streams as well. So talk to me. We'll share your comments. I'd like to be able to have a conversation with you on your idea as to whether the Caribbean is moving too slowly on technology or artificial intelligence. The whole morning is ours, so I'm patient enough to wait for you. Deal? Get your thoughts in and get them together indeed. We'll take a break right here. When we come back, we're meeting the man who guides the process and a whole lot more. Stay with us.
Morning, morning, morning. Good morning. Good morning to you.
Welcome to Nature's Discount, the ultimate health food store. At Nature's Discount, we have thousands of quality products at great prices.
Hi guys, Dottie here with Nature's Discount, and today we are talking about Solar Ray Microbiome Probiotics and why you should be taking them.
And we have well over 3,000 amazing products to help you get healthy.
For your health tips, tune in to CBC TV 8 every Monday, Tuesday, and Thursday for Nature's Discount, sponsored by Get Healthy Incorporated.
98.1 The One. Your number one party station. With an audience from 18 to 40, we keep you engaged, energized, and entertained. Choose 98.1 FM, The One.
Hey there, it's Mahalia. I want to share something that might be really helpful. If you're feeling anxious, overwhelmed, depressed, or lonely and have no one to talk to, call Lifeline Barbados. We all face struggles at times in our lives. You're not alone. There's no need to feel ashamed or embarrassed. It's okay to reach out for support. Lifeline Barbados is completely confidential. No one else will know you called. They're there to offer a caring ear and guidance without judgment. And fellas, I want you to know asking for help is a true sign of strength. It takes real courage to reach out. You can also call Lifeline Barbados if you're worried about loved ones who are struggling and you need advice on how to support them. There's a
Morning, morning, morning. Good morning. Good morning to you.
So we're 13 minutes now after 6 o'clock on Morning Barbados. I get excited when I hear that we're heading to engage with people in the creative process. People who work with people who are already front and center, who are doing phenomenal things in the region. You know, if I drop names like Bungie Garland, Fayan Lyons, and the music that they produce, you know exactly this man who works with them. He is their sound engineer. He is Lawrence Brewster. And he sounds like me. He sounds like a Bajan. Lawrence, good morning to you.
Good morning, Pearson. Good morning, Barbados.
Good to have you. First of all, how did this opportunity land on you?
It was funny. A friend of mine, Terry Birch, who used to work with Square One, he was working with Bungie. He was like, the guys need a man to go do sound engineering for Carnival. I was like, sure, no problem.
Sure, no problem?
Sure, no problem.
Did he tell you with whom you were working?
Yes, he said
Bungie and Fayan?
And for me, I was always a huge fan of Bungie. So when the opportunity arose, I was like, yeah, it happened in the right time.
But you were so calm and cool. Cool, no problem. Was it really like cool, no problem?
Yeah,
or was it wow?
No, it was cool, no problem.
Okay, that's your nature.
Yeah.
Fair enough. And so you said cool, no problem, and then you had to begin to formalize it.
Yes.
How did that work?
Well, as I said, I was a fan, so I knew most of the music. I knew a couple guys in the band because I've been on the road touring. And I was like, you know what, I could do this because from my days with 40 people and Alison Hines, back in the day, I was like, okay, I got a gist of the music. So, as I said, I was a fan, so it was a no-brainer for me.
Listen to me. Working with a Bajan band is one thing. These are people you know. Working with someone who you have always admired, who have a global reach, did not in any way scare you?
A little. I'll be honest, a little.
Here we go now. Here we go with the honesty.
Yes, a little. Because I was like, you know, I'll be the only Bajan out there flying the flag. And I was like, you know what, yeah, I can do it, man. I can do it. I'm a very confident person within myself, so it was, yes, I got discovered.
So the day of meeting, because they wanted an engineer, and you were recommended, and Bungie and Fayan said, okay, come. We want to meet this man. And you walked into the room. What was that like?
Actually, my heart was like, because from the outside, I was like, you know, these guys are huge. I can't be scared. I can't be frightened. I was like, but when I actually had the conversation with them, they're normal, they're fine, and that was it. That was it. I just came, did what I had to do. I came to, the show was in South in a club called Sting. The acoustics were not the best in the world, but I could handle myself because I've been out there for a while. And A to B, B to Z, and that was it.
So what do you, as a sound engineer, do? You do only live performances, or you also work in recording studios with them?
I do mostly live. Very seldom I do studio work because I'm on the road basically from January to December. We work the whole year. The whole year we work.
Did you see this to be your life, though? I mean, in sound engineering, or you had another profession before this, other than this?
No, I fell into this. My story is crazy. Years ago, a friend of mine, Philip, he was like, "Yo, I need some help putting some speaker boxes on a truck." I mean, it was crazy, and I just helped. I saw the guys were on the stage, and I went to the club Unite Time Colorblind. That's the name of the band. Tamar Marshall, Ricky Amy, Hoggett, those guys. And I was like, this is very interesting. I could get into this. And I just stayed focused, watched what was going on. I met the sound engineer, a guy called Andis Robakis. He was like, I could teach you this. It can take time. It's not going to be financially up there right now. But if you stay focused, stay grounded, work hard, make sure you have a wonderful work ethic, you could be good.
Wow.
Understand? And that's what I did.
From mounting the speaker boxes to being the sound engineer for Fayan and Bungie, this is phenomenal.
Yeah.
And so, sitting down to discuss with these two global artists, the approach, because you have to go into rehearsals and you have to make sure that your acoustics are right, that your speakers are placed in the right way, that they can hear all the monitors and the like.
Yes.
How stressful does that get, because they are perfectionists?
Yes, they are perfectionists. If I'm doing a show, my show starts 3 months before usually. I send out the technical writer, I liaise with the sound companies, promoters, lighting, stage, everything, to make sure that when Bungie walks onto that stage, everything is correct. So when you see we come here to do, like, we do some shows here off and on, you understand? And I am July, there's usually show. I start that show.
Since March.
Since March. Understand? Since March, I start working on the show. So, and I've been with them for 17 years.
Wow.
So they know that if I say we good to go, we good to go.
To go.
Yes.
And so they put their trust in you, because what you deliver for them, it can either make or break their career.
Yes.
And so knowing that, doesn't that add added pressure to you?
Yeah, it's a lot of pressure. The guys call the sound engineer the goalkeeper.
Yes.
You're the last line of defense.
Yes.
Correct. And for me, what I've learned over the years, I never jeopardize the sound of the artist. Because once upon a time, there was no YouTube, there was no TikTok. Everything goes live now. So one bad night, you could lose 10 shows because of that one bad night.
Yeah.
So,
have you ever had a bad night?
Yes, I've had a bad night.
And how did you feel having had that bad night? And how bad was that bad night?
I remember we did a show in St. James in Trinidad, and there was feedback on stage the whole night. My monitor engineer and myself, and I was like, oh God, boy, this is horrible. I got back home at 5 o'clock in the morning. You understand? When 6 o'clock, my phone rang. Yeah, we need to have a technical meeting in the morning for 9.
Wow.
Yeah, because these guys are perfectionists. You can't have a bad night. You cannot have a bad night.
And you walked in there with your head down, okay, guys, I don't know what went wrong, blah, blah, blah. And so they were forgiving of you because you're there with them now 17 years. And so here it is, you find yourself now in the cocoon that you've always wanted to be in, performing and producing music and sound engineering, the sound of some excellent Caribbean artists. What's happening this year?
This year is the first year Bungie's not in Road March.
I know, but what's happening this year?
Well, I can't tell you right now because I don't want to let the cat out of the bag, but we have about 8-9 shows, band shows for Carnival lined up already. I'm doing Prestige this weekend and CIC Fest this weekend in Trinidad. We got some other things in the pipeline, but it's not for me to say.
Listen, Bungie has a big song though. Even though he's not competing, and it's riding the charts at Garden Media for sure, because we do a countdown with Garden Media based upon their rotation there. And it came onto the charts and was already charting, projecting upwards. Did you have any hand in that?
No.
Oh, okay. Just checking, just to be sure. When you look at the work that you do and the landscape for Caribbean bands, what do you think? What's your assessment of it?
We have the talent in the Caribbean. I mean, we have some amazing musicians, artists, whatever, sound engineers. In some instances, we just need the opportunity to show ourselves globally. You understand? That's it. We could run this whole thing because.
So then why aren't we running this whole thing?
But if you listen to a lot of the music coming out of the US, a lot of them have a lot of Caribbean influence on them. Reggaeton is basically soca.
Yes.
You understand? But they just name it differently. You understand? So we have influences in most genres of music. It's just that we don't have that exposure. We don't have the numbers. Because compared to US, 300 million people, we nowhere close to that.
And so but is that our thinking that diminishes us the opportunity to be better and to do more?
No.
So what is it? The opportunity? Lack of opportunity?
The opportunity and as I said, the numbers. Because if you do any Grammy Awards, you got pop, you got R&B, but there's no room for soca because we just don't have the numbers. So when record executives comes down, he said, well, let me check the numbers on soca. There's no numbers on soca because it's not even relevant.
Okay.
But we have the influence on a lot of genres of music out there.
Okay.
Understand?
We got to talk to this man some more, folks. We'll take a break right here. We're coming right back with more with Lawrence Brewster, who is a Barbadian sound engineer who works, as it so happens, with Fayan and Bungie. We'll come right back with more in a moment.
Yes, I am a road man, and every year me program to take me and me work and go over and stay. Hey, farmer, see your messages. I promise you this ain't the road vestiges. Thanks for checking on me and my whole team. I see you asking if I finish with the road scene. I say I done my competition, I am finished with the road. My carnival show is on a different episode. It don't matter if I crowd or if it is me alone. I will be still up by the truck with the girl them up on the top.
Morning, morning, morning. Good morning. Good morning to you.
Hey there, it's Mahalia. I want to share something that might be really helpful. If you're feeling anxious, overwhelmed, depressed, or lonely, and have no one to talk to, call Lifeline Barbados. We all face struggles at times in our lives. You're not alone. There's no need to feel ashamed or embarrassed. It's okay to reach out for support. Lifeline Barbados is completely confidential. No one else will know you called. They're there to offer a caring ear and guidance without judgment. And fellas, I want you to know asking for help is a true sign of strength. It takes real courage to reach out. You can also call Lifeline Barbados if you're worried about loved ones who are struggling and you need advice on how to support them. There's a saying, a problem shared is a problem halved, but not everyone has someone they can confide in. That's why Lifeline Barbados exists, to be there for you or someone you care about during tough times. Save this number. Lifeline Barbados is just a call away. Remember, you can reach out whenever you need to talk.
Books open your heart, your mind, and your soul.
Morning, morning, morning. Good morning. Good morning to you.
26 minutes after 6 o'clock with Lawrence Brewster, sound engineer for the Viking Band with Bungie Garland and Fayan Lyons. And we're having a conversation while you were looking elsewhere. And our conversation ended with, it's a mind thing. It's really a mind thing, isn't it, Lawrence?
Yes.
That we can do so much more as a region as it relates to the way we sound and our ability to capture the attention of the rest of the world. But as a sound engineer, producing, to create the ambience in a room this size, for instance, compared with a room the size of Madison Square Garden, for instance, you know, how different is that?
All acoustics, all about acoustics. I did Madison Square Garden, actually. You understand? And
you thought I just bet your brain by mistake? Go ahead.
And we did the O2 Arena last year in London. It's all about acoustics and positioning everything, making sure certain things are in the right place at the right time. I mean, if we playing on sand, it's a whole different song. If we playing on grass. I did a gig this year. We actually played on a barge out in the ocean, and the audience were in the water.
Whoa.
Yeah, it was.
Whose idea was that? I like the idea. But you know, I mean, but to execute something like that, what level of planning did you have to put into that?
That gig we did in June. I started that gig from December.
The year before.
The year before. Working out. Number one, the biggest problem was the safety.
Yes.
Because we were out on water. Electricity and water don't mix.
Correct.
That was the biggest problem for me. And positioning the PA system, which is the speakers for who don't know, making sure every person on the beach could hear the same thing.
At the same time?
At the same time. The latency, which is a delay, so you would hear one thing here, and then a couple of seconds later on, you'd be hearing something different. Like when someone calls in on the radio program, there's a slight delay. So all them things I had to consider and put in place. I mean, it was crazy. It was crazy just seeing the audience in the water and we on the barge.
Yeah. And was it as successful as you had imagined it to be?
Yes, it was.
Good.
It was wonderful.
What was your most, okay, that's the water one. What would you say, when you look back at your career, your 17 years with the Viking Band and Bunji and Fayan, has been the standout moment for you that you felt, yeah boy, this one is unforgettable?
I would say Soca Monarch. Soca Monarch, we actually did the whole production for Soca Monarch.
Wow.
Myself, Fayan, the Vikings Band, we played for all the artists. We rehearsed months to get everything correct. I did the whole PA, made sure television-wise, audio for TV, something totally different than audio you hear in the audience. I did everything, you understand? I find that, I mean, that was amazing. That's the year Mr. Killer won with Pick Up Something. Yeah, that.
I'll take way. Just kidding. And so, the mixing of the music for television is different from the mixing of the music for a live environment?
Yes, it's a whole
What's
different.
the difference?
All right, in the decibel level, number one, and what I'm hearing in open air is something totally different than what you're going to hear on television. Because of the frequency range you have outside compared to your TV. Your TV is only between here and here. I mean, it's very technical. It's very technical.
And to think the man who just started with setting up speaker boxes is so technically sound that he's doing all of these things sometimes all at once. So, is it worth it? And I'm not asking you to tell me how much you're paid, but is it worth it?
It's worth it. Financially, it's good. But for me, the opportunity to travel the world, to meet people, different cultures. If I did not do this, my mind would be here. You understand? My mind is open to other things. And that, for me, that is the most important thing. To see things that I would, as the average person, I would never see.
So having traveled the world, having done all of these things in your 17 years career with the Viking Band and Fayan and Bunji, what do you want for the Caribbean? What do you want Caribbean artists and bands to get right so that we raise the level of our productions?
Number one, we need some more investment from the governments, right? Because a lot of the artists, even here in Barbados, if we have that push, like in Jamaica, as we were talking off screen, Jamaica government is 150% behind the artists. Sometimes we don't have it here. And if the governments help out the musicians, the artists, you understand, we could do things. Because when we do like a cultural event, sometimes they may take a band, sometimes they may not.
Yeah.
But everything, like for Barbados, we need to put our artists out there. You understand? Open the doors. Because you don't know. You could be in Barbados and you have a hit in Australia. You don't know.
Yeah, we were talking to a young man in Kenya the other day, and he happened to talk about Just D. You know, it was and Just D happened to walk in at the same time, and boom. But let's look at it. For instance, I want to come to the question of the day for a minute: artificial intelligence. What you do challenged by artificial intelligence?
Not yet.
You see that happening?
Yeah, because
in what way?
There's a AI device right now that it eliminates feedback, which in the audio world you hear woo on stage while the artist is singing. This AI eliminates that already. So it may not happen right now, but that's the way the world is going. They have artists singing songs that can't sing. You understand?
It's auto-tuned.
No.
It's not that simple?
They actually have AI programs that once you put in the genre music and you start to sing, you don't even have to know. You don't even have to know a key.
Whoa!
And the AI generates the music for you, the sound. That's really where we're going.
And how do you feel about that?
Well,
maybe resort to that level of technology to be.
It is what it is, because remember, 30, 40 years ago, we had only flow cable and wireless in Barbados. You used to pay for, I call you, you pay.
I get you.
I get you. Now we got cell phones. You don't even need a landline now.
So you learn to live with it.
You gotta live with it.
You learn to live with it, and then you find yourself living with it before you know it.
Yeah.
I understand you from that point of view, indeed. But so therefore, it doesn't necessarily eliminate the individual. You just need the individual needs to know how to use it as part of their toolkit.
Yes,
and that's what you're saying to sound engineers today.
Yeah.
And for sound engineers to have a keen enough ear, because sometimes a sound engineer is not a sound engineer, it's not a sound engineer. There's so many different sound engineers who produce different sounds.
Yes.
What do you say to them in terms of making sure that there's a standard? What would you see to be a standard that every sound engineer should attain to?
Number one, for me, if you're going to mix a band, at least go to rehearsal so you would know what is happening where. Because sometimes you would go to a concert and you'll be listening for that hook line in the beginning of the song, but you ain't hearing it. You're hearing it far down the song because the engineer did not take the time to go to that rehearsal. Stay focused. Stay focused all the time. Stay humble. You understand? And always do your homework.
Always do your homework. That's a good point. Always do your homework and stay focused and not get beyond yourself.
No. If you, for me, I came from analog to digital. You understand? So it was a whole learning experience for me. If you feel that you arrive and you don't need to learn, you're in the wrong business.
You've already lost it.
You're in the wrong business.
Yes, you're quite right. And so you leave the island today?
Yes.
What time is your flight?
I can't give you that information.
In other words, you don't know.
No.
For security reasons.
For security reasons.
I got you. So you're leaving today, you're heading off. You have some performances coming up this weekend with the band, and we're looking forward to even more exciting times from you. I'm really happy to have met you today, Lawrence.
Yes. Wonderful to meet you also, Pierce.
I wish you and the band well. The heavy bumper, Fayad, from Barbados. I love that so bad. You gotta forgive me.
As soon as I leave here, I will definitely message her. Yeah, this is what happened. Live.
We said hi to her indeed. And Bunji's song, as I said, is phenomenal. It's already rising the charts. And I know it's going to be another big one.
Yes.
Unfortunately for the Trinidadians, they're saying Bunji isn't competing, even though they wish he would.
You never know. You may change your mind. I don't know.
Our fingers are crossed that he changes his mind. But thank you so much for being with us this morning. We wish you well with all of your future endeavors, with the band and all of your other personal goals that you set for yourself.
Yes, thank you so very much.
You're very welcome.
Thank you so very much.
Lawrence Brewster, Barbadian, working with the Viking band, Bunji and Fayan, and really taking on the world, grabbing it by its horns and wrestling it to the ground, and he's done it phenomenally through sound. We wish him well, and I'm sure all Barbadians join me in saying to him, let the world contend with you, because you're already a winner. Morning Barbados is back in just a moment.
Morning, morning, morning. Good morning. Good morning to you.
Books open open your heart, your mind, and your soul. They are educational, entertaining, inspiring, and motivating. Are you an author of a recent book you want to share? Then Mornin Barbados would love to feature your book in our The Next Chapter segment. Send us an email to morninbarbados@cbc.bb. That's morning without the G. Come and let us turn those pages together.
Week after week, Scold presents exciting reports and documentaries on the most varied topics of our time. Spectacular developments and innovations, lifestyle and trends of tomorrow, mobility and tourism, health news, highlights from art and culture. Each contribution grabs the viewer with extraordinary images and stories and takes him into fascinating worlds which he experiences here exclusively and up close. We're there when companies and specialists develop super satellites for a global network in space and can look behind the scenes. Scold is a window to everything that is there or is yet to come. Fly with us through time to better understand today and tomorrow. You've always wanted that. Scold, a look into the future.
Our world today is not the world God wants it to be. One of the reasons which will surprise many is that our planet, its governments, and its peoples are all living under the weight of Satan's rule. From the beginning of mankind's existence to today, human history is the written record of what it means to live under the rule of the devil. Yet that rule is coming to an end, and what a difference that will make.
Every Sunday at 9 a.m. on CBC TV 8, tune in for Tomorrow's World, sponsored by the Living Church of God.
Some ask, what makes Barbados so special? We at Mornin Barbados say it's you, our exceptional youth. You are talented, resilient, and inspirational. You are the epitome of the Barbadian spirit, testing the boundaries of your creativity. If you are an entrepreneur, artist, baker, designer, author, or have done anything you think should be highlighted, email us at morninbarbados@cbc.bb. Let us show the world our exceptional Bajan youth.
From the beautiful shores of the gem of the Caribbean, Barbados, home of the amazing Harrison's Cave, the tantalizing Oystins Bay Garden, our historic garrison, the indigenous road tennis, and the friendliest people in the world. We are 94.7 FM, the ultimate Bajan experience.
There is a saying you can find.
Morning, morning, morning. Good morning. Good morning to you.
We're 12 minutes now to go. No, 12. We're 20 minutes now to go to the hour of 7 o'clock here. I'm wearing on my tie a pin. This pin is the pin that symbolizes support of cervical cancer awareness. And so Crystal Bowen, who's an activist about this, joins me now. Crystal, good morning.
Good morning, Barbados.
Good to have you. Thank you for the pin, but first of all,
You're welcome.
because this month is a month when we turn our attention to cervical cancer and the health of one's cervix and the like.
Yeah.
And so, thank you first of all for the donation. And I would really want to encourage more people to wear proudly the pin.
Yes.
Where can we get this pin?
Well, right now I have a couple of them, and I am trying to raise funds to help women, get their pap smear screening and stuff. So I do have some. You can reach out to me via Instagram, Miss_Penny246. You can reach out to me and get one. I plan to share some with the Barbados Cancer Society as well. I want them to also be, getting persons more aware of what's happening as it relates to their cervix and getting it screened and that kind of thing. So it's very, very important that we do that today.
How big a deal is it, though, that one is aware of one's cervical health?
Your cervix is so important to things like fertility, your menstruation. It's so important to everything, you know, just bringing life. And it's important that we take the time to know more about it, to make sure that we get screened. And for all ladies to make sure that they get their screening regularly.
You know, you're born and you figure hands are to work like hands, feet are to work like feet. Every piece of you is to work as it should.
Yeah.
And so you take it for granted.
Yeah.
Do you, from what you have observed as someone who's been paying close attention to this, do you get a sense that we are so laid back about it that we do not do what we ought to do to ensure that everything functions as it should?
Yeah, I do. In my mind, again, before this situation happened with my mom, I really didn't know much about getting pap smears and that type of thing. But as the more I get into it, the more I learn, I realize how important it is to actually make sure that you go to the doctor regularly and get it done. It is so vital. And especially when we're talking about things like STIs, those things can impact your fertility and also your pregnancies and so on. So it's so critical. We don't think about it, but it is very, very crucial.
And you don't think about it until you're trying to have a baby, and you realize that you're trying to have a baby, and you're still trying to have a baby.
There are issues.
And there are issues.
Yeah.
And then you dig deeper to realize this might very well have been the complication.
Yeah.
Based upon your understanding, is there any way to prevent it happening?
Well, from what I have read up on, and I do appreciate all that. There's a lot of literature out there about it, but we really have to take care of ourselves, meaning holistically. So our health, what we put inside of us, what we eat every day, the amount of exercise that we have, all plays a part in ensuring that our cervix is healthy. So that's why this month I'm focusing on let's protect our cervical health. So we're looking at things like diet, you know, eating more fruits and vegetables, you know, getting more activity, getting enough sleep, you know, all of these things play a role in ensuring that you are healthier and you can fight things like HPV and you can protect yourself from cervical cancer.
So how is it structured, your campaign this year?
My campaign, I decided to work with that one theme throughout 2026. And this month, I really want to encourage more women. So I do have a survey running right now, and I want women to take the survey, but there's an opportunity for you to get a free pap smear from me. So I'm aiming to do it every month to treat one of my followers to a free pap smear, because I want to do something. I want to continue to, you know, bring awareness, education, but also raise funds towards getting more women getting screened.
Give us that social handle again. I want people to get on it now.
Miss_Penny 246.
Miss MISS
yes.
_PENNY 246.
Yeah.
And once you set that in, folks, it'll take you straight to her page, and you can begin to engage with the content therein, and then in that complete the survey for an opportunity also to get a free pap smear.
Yes.
You said you're working with the Barbados Cancer Society this time around. In what way is that partnership?
Well, last year I had an opportunity to speak to individuals about my mom's story, and I do maintain contact with them, you know, just ensuring what's going on, what some of the things I need to be aware of. I'm always promoting the fact that they do offer pap smears. It is very important that women know this, and they can go there not just to get their breast screening, but they can also get their screening for their cervical cancer as well. So it's very important that I bring that awareness.
I don't know, but I'm assuming that as you raise your girl child, there's certain things that you teach your girl child. Do you get the sense that a lot of that transfer of information, that those little gentle reminders that these are things one has to do as one grows as a girl child, that enough of that is being done in our society?
Well, I can only go from personal experience. So my personal experience, my mom, I remember very young, my mom talking to me about sexual health and things like menstruation. I don't remember us having a conversation about pap smears, but it is a conversation that I do wish that more mothers will have with their young daughters about ensuring that they get screened, because I think the conversation only comes in when you're thinking about having your children. You know, when you start thinking about, you know, starting a family, we start start to hear more about going to the gynecologist and getting screened. But this is something that should happen throughout your whole life as a woman. I'm approaching 40. I'm totally stunned by that. But the reality is that I have to think about things like getting my breast cancer screening. I have to think more about my pap smears. So it's so important to have these conversations today, so that you don't have to worry about the consequences of what could happen, which is cancer.
And a lot of our Barbadian communities in our homes, certain subjects are taboo.
Yeah.
Certain subjects are taboo.
Yeah,
I will not tell you about it, because if I tell you about it, you will go and do it.
Yeah.
And so let's begin to deconstruct that for just a moment. What would you wish that in Barbadian households we begin to just shed a lot of that?
Well, I want us to understand that, especially for women, our sexual health should not be anything to be scorned. We all have to think about, at some point in our life, about thinking about starting a family. Most of us do. And it is very important that we share that information and have those conversations about how to do it properly, how to be safe, how to be responsible, and how to take care of ourselves. So I really think that we have to demystify these things and stop making it feel like it's taboo, because it isn't. This is a part of who we are.
So don't forget, folks, Miss_PENNY246 on socials. There's a survey there. This is a survey which I want to encourage you to take. And it's just gathering information. It's just a gather of information. And in doing so, you also get an opportunity to have a free pap smear, one of you. And so I want to encourage you to check out her social media right now. She's speaking from personal experience. We'll come back and talk a little bit more about that right after this break.
Morning, morning, morning. Good morning. Good morning to you.
There is a saying, you can find a Bajan anywhere. Are you a Bajan living abroad? Or do you know of one who has migrated to another country? Well, we at Mornin Barbados would love to have you or them on our Bajan Afar segment. Share your amazing stories, experiences, and how you have adapted to a new culture. Send us an email to morninbarbados@cbc.vb, and together we will travel the world.
God will not give you a job. God will not call you to do something and then not give you the capacity to have it, to make it happen. He will give you the resources. He'll give you the people. Not only will he equip you with ideas, but he will equip you with favor, as he did Nehemiah.
Turn on the latest episode of Infinite Possibilities, only on
Morning, morning, morning. Good morning. Good morning to you.
10 minutes now to go to 7 o'clock. We're sitting with Penny Bowen, Miss Penny, Crystal Bowen really, Miss Penny 246, Miss_Penny 246. Find her on socials indeed. We're looking at cervical cancer and one's cervical cancer, the health of one's cervix. And you're talking from past experience, Crystal, because your mother, you said. Just briefly run through that story once again for those who have not yet reconnected and understood why it is that you're taking on the activism that you do.
Right. So in 2022, my mom became very ill. We went to the hospital. We were not sure what was going on. She had a few screenings before, she had a few surgeries, but we had no idea what was happening. And the initial feedback was that it was cancer. We didn't know what type. Eventually, on March 16th, the doctors did say it's cervical cancer. And unfortunately, on the March 17th, she passed away. And that really shook me to the core. It shook the entire family to the core. And it opened my eyes to something that I didn't have a lot of knowledge or information about, and I just felt driven that I wanted to change all that. And I started with a campaign called 63 Days of Cervical Cancer awareness and HPV prevention. And I walked for a mile a day in that first year, and did 63 miles along with some of my friends and family. Collectively, we did 250 miles. We had participation in the US and also in Europe as well. And it was phenomenal, and I felt driven to continue. And here I am today, you know, still promoting it, still trying to bring awareness about HPV and cervical cancer.
Talk to me about the life with cervical cancer, because unless we sometimes see it for what it is, we don't get the shock of it.
Yeah. So it is a very tough disease, especially in the latter stages, because there are very few symptoms in the early stages of cervical cancer. You won't see anything abnormal, but eventually you might get back pain, you might get swelling of the legs, you might get cramping, you might get irregular bleeding. Bleeding during intercourse. There can be a discharge. These symptoms can be very similar to other things. However, by having the pap smear, you can get an early indicator of, well, what is happening. There's also a HPV test, which can test you to see if you have HPV. HPV is something that can go away on its own, but it can come back. It can be dormant for many years. We're talking about 15 to 20 years. So imagine you getting HPV in your 20s or your 30s and not knowing, and then coming in your 50s and 60s and then ending up with cervical cancer. So it's something that you need to monitor. Luckily, it's not in high numbers as, say, breast cancer, but it's still something that we need to monitor because it can be very deadly.
And so because of that, you advocate pap smears, pap smears, pap smears, pap smears, ladies, pap smears, pap smears. I can't say it enough. And so because I can't say it enough, it's that important for ladies to really have a pap smear indeed. And so your campaign says to them, go onto my socials, Miss_Penny246, fill in the data that I'm trying to get, because you're trying to get a broad sense of the prevalence on people's gaps of knowledge, so that you can begin to fill them in. Do you have enough manpower to help you respond when people reach out?
Yeah, I do. I mean, I think there's a stigma. Let's face it, there is a stigma about cervical cancer because it's associated with a STI. Most cases of cervical cancer is due to HPV, but there are rare cases where it's not. That's like very small, but it's still a stigma. And the reality is that every woman out there can be at risk. There's not a particular type of woman that gets HPV. Everyone can. So that's one of the things I want to remind persons about.
Right, and you have an event, I'm told, coming up at the University of the West Indies.
Yes, I do.
When is it and what is it?
Okay, so in addition to all of this advocacy that I am doing, I also have a yearly workshop called Kickstart. Now, Kickstart is supposed to help the students of the University of the West Indies. I'm a mentor there. I've been a mentor there since 2018, and the workshop started in 2022, and it's all part of the World of Work. So Dr. Dawn Marie Holder, she has been the coordinator of this event, and this year we're talking about keeping your voice in the world of AI. I know everybody's talking about AI, so my workshop will focus on that. It's for the second year students and also the alumni. It will be a virtual event. And there are also other activities happening between February and March of this year. So it's very exciting.
I want you to look at your screen, everybody. Look there at your screen right now. Right now, screenshot it if you have to. And you'll see all the details we've just been talking. So in the month of February, they're offering all of this. Then in March, they're offering all of that and all of those. But you need to register right now. The registration is right there at the bottom of that poster. Of course, all of this you can find on your socials as well.
Yeah, you can find it on the socials. And it's specifically for the second year UWI students and also the UWI alums. So persons who are out there trying to find a job. You know, everybody's looking for work. We're going to be talking about the different tools, the AI tools that you can use to help you get a kind of step forward and towards getting that job and getting that interview.
What do you think about AI in the Caribbean, though?
I think it is it's a very creative space right now. I think for a lot of us, for those who are content creators, AI can be very advantageous. It's also something that we still have to be very cognizant and be aware of, and still not just take it as it is, because you still have to manipulate it to get it to work the way that you want it to. But it is a very powerful space. I recently saw a statistic saying that ChatGPT got over 100 million users in just 2 months. So that tells you the kind of how dynamic it is in comparison to things like the telephone, which took a number of years, right? So I think it was 16 years or something like that. So it's really interesting to see how technology is moving forward and changing things for everybody.
Are we in the Caribbean moving fast enough?
No.
Why do you say so?
We're not, because there's this fear. There's this idea that, you know, AI will take over our jobs. The reality is it's not a matter of if, it's a matter of when. And we all have to take the opportunity to learn as much as we can and to adapt. Like how we had to adapt to everything that came in our lives, we have to adapt to AI because it is here to stay.
Where does that adaptation begin?
It starts in just the education system. We do have to do more in terms of teaching young people how to use AI. We know young people are very tech savvy. However, I don't think they're applying it to their education in the way that they should, so that when they get to that point where they're looking for a job now, they are more qualified and more skilled. Yeah.
Yes, ma'am. And so, remember, go to Miss_Penny246. Fill in the information, folks. And, you know, that data, that information you share helps to inform further what Miss Penny is doing to bring further awareness to the health of your cervix. And so that helps a lot. But in doing so, you stand the opportunity to have a free pap smear. Crystal is working with the Barbados Cancer Society, which offers, as part of their services, the screening of the cervix. And so that pap smear is also offered there. The Barbados Cancer Society take the opportunity this month, indeed, to bring greater awareness and have greater understanding as to the health of your cervix. The pin which I wear, the pin which Penny also wears this morning, is available for sale as well. And we get those details also from the social media site.
Yes, yes.
And
I will provide it there, yes.
Right. And so it is important that you make your contribution by wearing proudly, but giving as well. Buy as many as you think you need to. I want to encourage school children to be able to be given the opportunity to wear proudly that pin, to create the conversation around the health of the service as well, and so much more. Crystal, I want to thank you so much.
Thank you.
Not just thank you for being here, but thanking you for being present in the time, for being obedient to your mother, to be able to continue the conversation around the health of the service as well, and not giving up.
Yeah.
Because it's a big enough subject that you're big enough to be able to carry.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
You're very welcome. Morning Barbados breaks here. We're coming back in a moment.
Morning, morning, morning. Good morning. Good morning to you.
Welcome to Nature's Discount, the ultimate health food store. At Nature's Discount, we have thousands of quality products at great prices.
Hi guys, Dottie here with Nature's Discount, and today we are talking about solar ray, microbiome, probiotics, and why you should be taking them.
And we have well over 3,000 amazing products to help you get healthy.
For your health tips, tune in to CBC TV 8 every Monday, Tuesday, and Thursday for Nature's Discount, sponsored by Get Healthy Incorporated.
98.1 The One, your number one party station. With an audience from 18 to 40, we keep you engaged, energized, and entertained. Choose 98.1 FM, The One.
Hey there, it's Mahalia.
Morning, morning, morning. Good morning. Good morning to you.
Let's look at the news now. Prime Minister Mia Amor-Motley officially kicked off the Barbados Labour Party's election campaign last evening, and she's urging eligible voters to ensure their names are on the list to cast their ballots on the 11th of February. The Prime Minister issued the advice during the Barbados Labour Party's annual picnic and rally at Checker Hall, St. Lucie.
If you don't know, pick up your phone and go and text cbc.gov.bb and put in your ID number in the box and your name, if you are registered, will come up. If you don't see your name, come to any Barbados Labour Party campaign office and check it. Or you can go to the Boundaries Commission yourself. But I want you to check it, because this is not a time for persons to be lagging. Because when you lag, you will end up sometimes outside, and you have no control of what happens.
Meanwhile, many turned out for that event. Dressed in red, supporters from across the 30 constituencies enjoyed food, drinks, DJ music and live performances. And candidates called on them to rally around the Barbados Labour Party in the lead-up to the general election. Among them was Christchurch West candidate Dr. William Dugid, who endorsed the candidate for St. Lucie, Peter Phillips.
Apart from coming and getting us moving as a party, I have also come here to defend the proud and fantastic record of my colleague Peter Phillips. I want to tell you, Peter worked with me in the Ministry of Transport. He worked with me in the Ministry of Housing. And Peter is a fantastic representative for the people of St. Lucie. He has a stellar record, and we will defend it, because let me tell you something, the Barbados Labour Party leaves nobody on the battlefield.
Well, the candidate for St. Michael's Central, Tyra Trotman, described the Barbados Labour Party as the party for the young. She endorsed and encouraged the youth to exercise their constitutional right to choose the next government.
Young people, I know what it feels like to work hard and still feel like the door is closed. It means I understand the frustration of doing everything right and still being told to wait. But Barbados cannot wait. I stand with a party that knows that young people are not the problem. Young people are the power. Young people are the push. And young people are the future in motion. And nobody has to tell me so. I have witnessed it firsthand that this Mia Motley-led Barbados Labour Party believes in progress and is brave enough to do what is necessary to ensure that all voices are heard and that all views contend. That is democracy.
The Barbados Labour Party is dominating the election campaign so far and seems to be heading into the polls at full readiness. It's the view of senior law lecturer of the UWI CAFL campus, Dr. Ronnie Yearwood. He says the BLP has been in campaign mode since the Prime Minister announced the elections last Saturday. And according to him, the party has been flooding social media with algorithms, putting up posters, distributing campaign paraphernalia across the island. However, he says the same level of preparedness is not evident from the DLP or the newly formed People Coalition for Progress.
So this has to rate on a scale of readiness between the parties. You would probably put the Barbados Labour Party at a maximum of yes, completely ready, at an A, and maybe you would put all the other parties somewhere at a C and below, depending. And really, every party should have been ready. I mean, anybody sitting in any party headquarters should have worked out the same kind of scenario and have been ready for this period. And the reality is, with an election 1 year out, you should have been ready.
The legacy of Barbados' first Prime Minister, national hero, the Right Excellent Errol Barrow, was remembered yesterday in St. Lucie at the annual wreath-laying ceremony. Among the speakers were the leader of the Democratic Labour Party, Ralph Thorne, and the party's candidate for St. Lucie, Ian Griffith, who reflected on nation building and community. Deanza Roberts tells us more.
Wreaths were laid in honor of the man widely regarded as the father of independence, Errol Barrow. One of the speakers, Ian Griffith, used the occasion to speak not only about legacy, but about the daily struggles facing ordinary Barbadians.
I stand with the daughter who has to struggle day after day to take her blind mother up a rocky pothole-riddled road just to catch a bus, just to access the basic needs that many take for granted. I stand with the men on the block who choose community over distraction.
He stressed that true nation building does not happen only in Parliament, noting that the community plays a vital part.
A country is built in communities. A country is built in households. A country is built in the struggles that people carry silently every day. And in moments like this, it's fitting to remember the words of the late, great Robert Nesta Marley. Emancipate yourself from mental slavery. None but ourselves can free our minds. Yes.
Opposition leader Ralph Thorne also reflected on Barrow's personal sacrifice and leadership, describing him as a man whose life was fully devoted to country.
We all must feel indebted to Father Hugh that he reminded us of the legacy of the man who we honor today, a life of service, integrity, and patriotism. And there's a sense in which Right Excellent Errol Walton Barrow set the tone for this country by his personal life and by his politics. Indeed, his personal life was his politics, and his politics became his personal life.
Mr. Thorne also raised concern about the erosion of national values, noting that the church and other institutions have a part to play.
As we move away from faith-based organizations and from the church, we lose much of who we are. All of us here, this generation, certainly my generation, you did not become an adult unless you were a member of those three institutions, the church, school, and the family.
As the country paused to remember Errol Barrow, speakers challenged citizens not only to honor history, but to live it through service, sacrifice, and community building. Deanza Roberts, CBC News.
The police are investigating a shooting death which occurred in Pegwell Boggs, Christchurch yesterday afternoon. It is the second fatal shooting of 2026. Initial investigations revealed that a group of people were gathered in the area when a car approached. Someone got out of the vehicle, discharged several gunshots at the gathering before fleeing. One man was hit and collapsed a short distance away. He was pronounced dead at the scene. The police are appealing to any one of you to contact them if you have any further details. Less than 24 hours after dealing with several matters in the District A Magistrates Court No. 1, Acting Magistrate Oliver Thomas has died. According to reports, the 39-year-old died on Tuesday following a sudden illness. He was married, admitted to the bar in 2014, and joined the office of the Director of Public Prosecutions a year later. He served as a Principal State Counsel to his swearing in as a magistrate on January the 2nd. Prime Minister Mia Amor Motley says the world must strike a fairer deal for migrants. Speaking on the What Now podcast with Trevor Noah, the Prime Minister warned that global conversations on immigration are too often driven by racism and fear, not by the real needs of countries. She stressed that many nations rely on immigrants to stabilize and grow their economies. And while the world has figured out how to move money easily across borders, Motley says talk of moving people still makes many uncomfortable.
We need a proper deal for migrants. And this notion of people having to drown just because they want a better life when countries elsewhere actually need them and can provide opportunity and dignity to them, something is fundamentally wrong. And regrettably, that's one of the things I can say we unfair in people.
We definitely are.
We are unfair in people, and we're seeing people die unnecessarily when we can have a structured program.
Minister Motley suggested the program should be based on the Sustainable Development Goals.
If we could get a basic agreement globally that there's certain things that we must provide people. Basic education, which means from pre-primary to secondary. I mean, I'd love to say post-secondary and tertiary, but let's
just starting at the base level. Everyone in the world
must have a basic education that allows them to learn at any stage of their life again. That basic healthcare for the very basic things.
Right.
The opportunity to play football or cricket or whatever sport you like.
Let's look at sports now. Barbados women booked a finals showdown with Leeward Islands women by winning their final round-robin match of the CWI T20 Blaze by 22 runs over the Guyana women yesterday. Playing in Arnas Vale in St. Vincent, the Bajan women batting attack struggled, posting 92 for 8, with Aliyah Aline the only batter with significant score of 38. But it was the bowling attack that secured the win for the Bajan ladies. They held Guyana women to 70 all-out in 19.4 overs, thanks to 3 for 16 from Thiani Roberts Herbert Mears and 2 wickets apiece from Nijani Cumberbatch, Aline and Keela Elliott. Look at the headlines. Well, the final is set to play off at 7 o'clock this evening. That's a look at news. More news coming up at 12 noon right here on TV8. Morning Barbados is back in a moment.
Morning, morning, morning. Good morning. Good morning to you.
The Morning Barbados news is brought to you by Jordan Supermarkets Spend and Eat 2025 competition.
Hey there, it's Mahalia. I want to share something that might be really helpful. If you're feeling anxious, overwhelmed, depressed, or lonely and have no one to talk to, call Lifeline Barbados. We all face struggles at times in our lives. You're not alone. There's no need to feel ashamed or embarrassed. It's okay to reach out for support. Lifeline Barbados is completely confidential. No one else will know you called. They're there to offer a caring ear and guidance without judgment. And fellas, I want you to know asking for help is a true sign of strength. It takes real courage to reach out. You can also call Lifeline Barbados if you're worried about loved ones who are struggling and you need advice on how to support them. There's a saying, a problem shared is a problem halved, but not everyone has someone they can confide in. That's why Lifeline Barbados exists. to be there for you or someone you care about during tough times. Save this number. Lifeline Barbados is just a call away.
Morning, morning. Good morning. Good morning to you.
We're 16 minutes after 7 o'clock now as we continue. I told you there was a lady who is going to join us whose mission and purpose and story and project will uplift you today. And I'm happy to be joined this morning by Tamara Norville. Tamara Norville is the founder of She Waits Well Ministries. Yes, Tamara, good morning.
Good morning.
She Waits Well.
Yes,
what does that mean? Why do you give that title?
Well, I think that the reason I gave the title is because I think that waiting is something that we find really hard to do as individuals, and I just wanted a name that really reflected the purpose, the mission, and it is a good thing to wait well. So I use the word waiting and then well because I really want it to be an initiative, a mission, a movement where we wait well, wait in peace, wait with God at the center of everything. So yeah.
When somebody tells you to wait,
yeah,
especially when you're all riled up to go,
yeah,
you know, you get miserable.
Yes,
you become extremely uncomfortable.
Yes, you do.
And then you want to reach out on your own.
Yeah.
Or you get angry.
Yeah.
And you're saying, no, turn that around.
Yes, please.
And recognize the grace within which you are living,
yes,
and
please,
to be patient.
Yes, please.
But you know that's hard.
That's really hard to do. That's really hard to do.
So how do you do it?
Well, the thing is, I don't think it was as easy for me to do, and I could just share a little bit of my story. It was very hard for me to do. And I really wanted young women to know, young unmarried women to know that waiting is not always a bad thing. I was rushing, and I always ended up in, as Bajans would say, potter. I always ended up in a situation where I had to learn, and I think that when you wait and you come to the realization that, man, waiting is not a bad thing. I think that when I wait, I guess the result will be better, and I came to that realization myself. I learned a lot because of the rushing, but I realized that rushing gets you nowhere. And as hard as waiting is, we want the result, the ending to be the way that God wanted or wants it to be or wanted it to be. So yeah, it's not easy at all, but...
So in the concept of waiting,
yeah,
you're waiting to do what, or waiting to experience what?
Well, the aim is to we are waiting for a relationship, a Christ-centered relationship, because I think in this generation, young ladies rush to be in a relationship because I think that society painted the picture that being in a relationship is everything. Being in a relationship is the end goal. But I want young women to know that that is not the end goal, that you can wait with purpose. You can wait with understanding that, you know what, I can make the best of this season. I can do what's best for me. I can serve. And I think that when we come to that realization that, you know, serving is a good thing, that it is fulfilling, that, you know, this is what we should do instead, because the end goal is a relationship. We all want to be married one day. You know how the young girls have their dreams to be brides and to have children and these things. That is still the end goal. But why not just live in this season of singleness, be happy and do what you can, fill yourself, fill the people around you, bless the people around you.
How do you do that when life around you, when you see your contemporaries, your age moving on, and they've been waiting, but somehow you find yourself in this mode stuck, and you can feel sometimes as though everyone walked past your product on the shelf and did not buy you.
Yeah.
How then do you deal with that emotionally, spiritually, so that you don't feel devalued, but that you can now gracefully accept that this is a period preparing you for something good?
Well, I think first that young ladies need to find their identity in Christ. I think that when you find the identity in who made you, where you came from, that you will gain a better understanding that, you know what, even if I don't end up in a relationship that I dream about, I can still, because with She Waits Well, we are planning and trying to put things in place for young women to, have fun, spend time with each other, worship, just different activities for young ladies to have fun, to do their best. Even like things like charity, we're looking to do, get into blessing others. So yeah, I think finding your identity in Christ first, even if you don't end up in the relationship that you dream about, well, I have my identity in Christ. I will use this time to serve. I will use this time to fill the cup of others around me. And it is hard, but when you find that identity in Christ, when you find who you are in Christ, it becomes much easier, yeah.
And this is more than just a sisterhood.
And this is more than just a sisterhood, yeah.
It's a brotherhood too?
No. It's a movement for unmarried women, so yeah.
It's really for the unmarried women.
Yeah.
And you have an age cohort that you're dealing with?
We were looking at age 16 and up, yeah, for any 16 and up, yeah.
So how does it work? Is it an online movement? Is it an in-person movement? How is it working?
Well, this is an in-person movement because, as I said it before, we're going to be doing things like charity work. We're going to be doing activities together like Bible study, and we will have different events for women to attend. And also, we will get the men included because we're thinking about doing a panel discussion with men called Think Like a Man. So
see that? That's the men now.
Think like a man, So we'll have men on a panel and they will be just sharing some insight on what men want, what turns off men, what women should start doing, what a respectful, godly man, and what a man is looking for, a man of God is looking for. So we will be including married women, men, and then also, but the initiative, the movement is for the unmarried women. So it will be online. We'll have online Bible study, but we'll have also in-person physical activities. So yeah.
And I like the fact that you're tackling this holistically.
Yeah.
Really, because a relationship should not just be, hey, I like you, I want you, and that shall be it forevermore.
Correct.
And then you're not somehow evenly yoked, as the Bible will tell us.
Correct, yeah.
So you're preparing for, and sometimes you're walking into a relationship and you realize, but hold on, this isn't quite what I had imagined it to be.
Correct.
But if you take the time to prepare, if you wait well,
correct,
then you will see what God has for you.
Amen.
And God does not make mistakes.
No, He does not.
That is not a part of His modus at all.
No, it's not.
And then you'll know for sure that this is built in the way that God has designed it to be.
Correct.
And so it's a transition point, but in transitioning, you're giving them the tools, the techniques, and searching within so that they are really, truly ready to make that next move.
Yes, please.
All right. So for those who are listening right now, who are watching, who are saying, I've never heard about y'all. So how can they hear about y'all?
Okay, so you can find us on Instagram because the movement just launched January 1st. You can find us on Instagram at SheWaitsWell_ministry, and on Instagram there you can look at the bio and there's a link to a web page and you'll find out all about She Waits Well. There's the bio who the founder, which is myself, and you will have information on what the movement is about, what you'll be learning, some of the activities. There's also a calendar that tells you about some of the events that we're looking to do, some of the charity work, because we're looking into getting into schools, teaching young women that, focus on your school, focus on what you're supposed to focus on in this season, and then when the time is right, the Lord will make it happen. So you can go on the Instagram page and all the information is there. Go on the link in the bio and everything is there on the web page.
There are so many stories in the Bible that show women who waited and waited well.
Yes, and they also there's also stories in the Bible women who did not wait. So like the woman at the well, if she waited well, she would have been in a better situation, but there was a lesson at the end of the day too. So still look at the lesson in it. Know that it is never too late to wait well. Yeah.
If the woman who finds herself coming out of a situation where she was disobedient, like the woman at the well, and so she's reaching for salvation of sort, does Wait Well Ministries help with her situation?
Yes, it does.
All right.
We're looking to, because even like myself, I came out of a relationship where I didn't wait well, and it was very hard for me to navigate life, connections and bonds or whatever the case may be. But I want to allow women to see or help women come to the realization that even though I didn't wait, even though I entered a season that I should not have been in, I still have a place that I can go to get the healing, to have the sisterhood that I need, so that I can learn how to wait well, communicate well, do all these things well. Yeah.
I think what I hear you say just now is that God does not give up on you.
He does not give up on you.
God does not.
He does not
give up on you. God always provides you with a way out.
He does. He does.
And that's the beautiful thing about the whole story. Girl, you're going to get me talking Bible here. Don't do that to me. I keep thinking of the moment of sin. And even for a lot of us, it feels as if God taking forever to sort this out in His time. He had right away His plan kicked in.
Yes, please.
And so Jesus came to reconcile us. And so God will fix it.
Yeah, He will work it out.
But you must reconnect.
Yes, please.
You must realign yourself to His will and to His way. And so Well Ministries provides that space of realignment,
yes, it does.
of refreshment,
yes, it does.
of refocus.
Yes, it does.
And so I want to encourage all of you watching today, for those of you who feel confused, who feel troubled, your spirit, because you're hearing this, your spirit is troubled, this is an opportunity for you to have some respite for just a moment. Again, remind us how to find you.
You can go on Instagram and find us at SheWaitsWell_ministry. You can go into the bio and you'll find all the links there. We have an upcoming supper for all the ladies, so you can register using the link there, and all the information is there on the webpage. Yeah.
When is the supper?
The supper is February 15th this year. Yeah.
Right after Valentine's. Look
right
at that.
After Valentine's. We celebrate ourselves, celebrate sisterhood, yeah.
That's your point of view.
Yeah.
Valentine's Day, she puts it right there behind Valentine's Day.
Yeah.
That's all right. That's all right. I'm sure many people will grab that opportunity indeed. And so folks, I encourage you, She Waits Well Ministries, look for them on socials and get involved. Get involved. There is a space for you because God has not given up on you, but you need to wait. And you need to wait well.
Yeah.
You need to be obedient to His will and to His way. And in that obedience, you will see all that He has for you being manifest. And the happiness that you seek, you will find. She Waits Well Ministries. Look at your page. Look at it on your screen. Look at your screen. That's what we're talking about here. And so the supper that we're talking about is right there before you. All that you need as well, the emotional support, encouragement and motivation, building of confidence, collaboration, all of that they can provide for you in the ministries as well. I want to encourage you to follow it. Tamara, thank you so much.
It was a pleasure.
To you and your team, continue doing God's work.
We will.
And God is pleased.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
All right.
All right. Morning Barbados comes back in just a moment.
Morning, morning, morning. Good morning. Good morning to you.
Books open your heart, your mind, and your soul. They are educational, entertaining, inspiring, and motivating. Are you an author of a recent book you want to share? Then Mornin Barbados would love to feature your book in our The Next Chapter segment. Send us an email to morninbarbados@cbc.bb. That's morning without the G. Come and let us turn those pages together.
Week after week, Scald presents exciting reports and documentaries on the most varied topics of our time. Spectacular developments and innovations, lifestyle and trends of tomorrow, mobility and tourism, health news, highlights from art and culture. Each contribution grabs the viewer with extraordinary images and stories and takes him into fascinating worlds which he experiences here exclusively and up close. We're there when companies and specialists develop super satellites for a global network in space and can look behind the scenes. Scald is a window to everything that is there or is yet to come. Fly with us through time to better understand today and tomorrow. You've always wanted that. Scald, a look into the future.
Our world today is not the world God wants it to be. One of the reasons, which will surprise many, is that our planet, its governments, and its peoples are all living under the weight of Satan's rule. From the beginning of mankind's existence to today, human history is the written record of what it means to live under the rule of the devil. Yet that rule is coming to an end, and what a difference that will make.
Every Sunday at 9 a.m. on CBC TV 8, tune in for Tomorrow's World, sponsored by the Living Church of God.
Some ask, what makes Barbados so special? We at Mornin Barbados say it's you, our exceptional youth. You are talented, resilient, and inspirational. You are the epitome of the Barbadian spirit, testing the boundaries of your creativity. If you are an entrepreneur, artist, baker, designer, author, or have done
Morning, morning, morning. Good morning. Good morning to you.
29 minutes now to go to 8 o'clock. Who does not try to work out their budget every day? Every day. And we tend to oftentimes look at the balance and we figure, okay, I have these number of days left till payday. What do I do? How much should I want to retain? And how far down can I go down to whatever cent just to make sure I cover all that I need to cover? I have a woman here with me right now who I am so happy to have back with us on Morning Barbados. Her name is Marcia Armstrong. Marcia, good morning.
Good morning, Pearson.
You're the founder of Purpose Life.
That's right.
And I feel as if we started together.
Yes,
I remember when you came on to Morning Barbados and we blew you up.
Yes.
And now here you are. You're part of the Financial Action Task Force, isn't it?
No, but I'm receiving it.
The financial literacy.
Yes, financial literacy.
That's what we're meant to talk about. The last time I had a moment with Marcia was when we were doing the workshop, looking at the listing for people to list on the junior market.
Yes.
And the one thing you said, not the one thing, but one of the things you said that stood with me is, if someone came in and they asked you to expose your financial business, would they like what they see?
Yes.
And that woke me up. I think it woke all of us in that room up because it's so true. Mm-hmm. Why do you think that was important for us to hear?
Because I've been in this business for 6 years now. I realize that many people are not intimate with their finances, and that stems from your money psychology or your money story. And there's fear sometimes around money. There might be a lack of education in regards to the how-tos, and persons just do not understand how to go about their money management. There's technically no guide, and therefore you just do what you know. You do what you would have learned over the years, or what you knew from childhood. And what normally happens in a business context is that you take your personal money habits and you transfer it into your business. Because at the end of the day, right, whether or not you're in a personal setting or in a business setting, you are still the same individual. And therefore, I call it pulling back the veil or pulling across the curtain. What happens is that when you allow someone else to come in, whether it is a financial coach or a financial advisor, they are able to help you see your blind spots and help you to see, okay, these are some gaps that exist, so that you're able to close those gaps and be able to achieve the goals that you want to be able to achieve.
But that means you having to confront your realities honestly.
Yes.
And not take offense to it.
That's right. Because when it comes to money, you have to be very transparent. And I know sometimes when it comes to sharing your private details with someone, you don't want to feel judged. You don't want to feel like if you are being attacked or embarrassed either. So it's all about finding what your safe space is, but also allowing yourself to open up to a degree that you allow someone else to come in. Because I always say this, we're not good at everything. Mm-hmm. And therefore, be strong in the areas that you have strength in and allow other people to come in to help you, to guide you along the path, to shorten your pathway as well. I find that when we try to do things on our own, whether it is going online, I call it Google University or YouTube University, we take hours. But what I've realized as well too is that the advice we get is really Americanized. It is not in a Caribbean context. I believe personally in the financial literacy space, we need more voices, we need to be more open, we need to have forums where people are talking about things that people are experiencing behind the scenes and struggling with. If we allow the taboo to be removed when it comes to money, where persons share their experiences, because you can learn from what someone went through so that you don't have to go down the same path, or you can then gather a strategy or a tool that you can apply to your own money journey.
Is there a basic template that we should all, when it comes to money or money management or financial management, is there a basic template we should use?
I would say more so a checklist, right? So when it comes to financial literacy, there are around 10 components, and the first 5 help you to create wealth, the last 5 help you to protect it. So when it comes to the very start of your money journey, number 1 is your money psychology. Understanding your mindset around money, understanding your behaviors and your attitudes when it comes to money. Once you know your money personality, it will give you an idea as to why you treat money the way that you do, because we are affected by money at the childhood level, social media, any authority level, workspace. All these things have different effects on our money story. Then from there we can look at budgeting, because budgeting is the foundation of your money management plan. You cannot invest, you cannot plan for retirement, you cannot deal with that or anything unless you know what your numbers are. Your budget is your money plan or spending plan. It lets you know what you can and cannot afford to do. When you do have your budget in place, this is where the other things come, like savings and debt management and understanding your credit. All those things then follow, and then as it relates to protecting your wealth, this is where we look at then in the insurance, and we look at estate planning and having a money team. That comes after, but I find that in Barbados in particular, we tend to do things out of order. Whereas that, you might go and get an insurance policy, which nothing against insurances, but the thing is that if you do not know your numbers, then you add on to your expense side, but you're not actually covering it with the income source. And that is what happens. We do things out of order, and then we find ourselves in problems.
Well, ain't a problem. Based on what you just said, Pearson, you're a problem. And beyond, and that's the point, to be honest about the whole thing. But I like how you said start with understanding your culture. Who are you? Who are you financially? Your behavior around all of that before you begin to fix anything else. You could find yourself being a spendthrift, or you can find yourself being a miser. Who are you? Who are you? Which is it that you're struggling with? And once you understand that and rein in that beast, is when you begin the process towards improvement.
And the thing is, as you just mentioned as well, too, the two extremes, right? You can have a person who spends a lot, and you can have a person who then hoards, as I said, or keep their money. But you don't want to be at either extreme. There's a balance to things. You will find in relationships that you will have two opposites. You will have a spender and a saver. You need balance, right? Because when you spend too much, it means then you're not thinking ahead. You're not thinking about your future. You're out in fires, literally. But when it comes down to the person who's the miser, the person who tends to hold on to what it is that they have, they're not really enjoying life. They're not being present. So you need to be able to find a balance between the two and allow yourself to actually enjoy life. We have not been created, to be honest, right? To just work, pay bills, and that's not our journey.
And that's true. But oftentimes we tell ourselves that, and then we get reckless. I'm going to enjoy my money because I worked hard for it. And therefore you still struggle month on month, having enjoyed the last month.
We need balance. That's why we have things like barriers or obstacles that you put in your path. But by having, again, it's about understanding once you know your actual dynamic in regards to your money personality, then you will know, okay, and one of the things I don't do is deprive people of what they actually find joy in. What we will do now is to take that energy that you have, we will harness it, we will put it into the budget where we will give you an actual budget limit for the things that you have. We're not taking away the things that you enjoy, because that's not realistic. You still need to be realistic, whereas a person, what can you actually offer someone? Not blanket approval now. This is where now we do bespoke or customized type of coaching, whereas we can sit down, match your personality to the budgeting method or to the money journey that you are on, but still allow you to enjoy the things you want, but with limits or parameters so that you don't overdo. We have to look at it this way as well. Every time that we overspend, we are taking money from another area. So although we don't see a budget template in our faces, technically behind the scenes, every decision you make affects the budget either in a good way or in a bad way.
We tend also to look at our life in terms of stages and ages. And some who are watching today will probably think, but at this old age, why near retirement anyhow? So what is the sense of trying to do a budget now? Is even more important, perhaps.
It is even more important. I'm telling you right now, because I am on the ground, we hear many things in the media about how well the country is doing, but I'm telling you, as a person who's on the ground, I have these conversations. There are many people who are at retirement that are not prepared. There are many persons who retire into poverty or might have to rely on a welfare system to help them through, because the pension amount itself is not sufficient to cover their expenses. You have persons that might still have mortgages to pay, or persons who might not even consider health as an option in regards to caregiving. These are things that persons do not have conversations about. But again, you know, if you don't know, you can't do any better. But what I would say is super important to understand that as you are nearing retirement, retirement is not an age, retirement is an amount. You can retire whenever you feel like, once you have the amount to cover your lifestyle. So the thing is, how can I put things in place that I protect not only myself today, but I'm protecting that person 20, 25 years from now? What type of life would Marcia be living 20, 25 years from now versus how she's living today? So everything that we do, we have to consider the future version of ourselves.
And I know part of the work that you do with the financial literacy program,
yes.
I'm going to make sure I get it right, is to get into schools and to get into places where you teach us these basics. So teach us this morning then, what's one of the most important things you think we need to start thinking about and doing from today?
What I would say, and I'm treating you like if you're in
me
school.
Is me.
Oh, is it? So what I would say to you, Pearson, is that when it comes to what you're earning, set aside something. Pay yourself first. That's one of the main things I will tell you. Every time you earn, as you earn income, you earn revenue, set aside something for the future version of you. Pay yourself first. Treat yourself like a bill. And when it comes to saving, no matter the small amount, don't look at the amount. It's about building the habit over time. Understand as well too, it's very, very important that you give your money a job. So as we earn revenue, as we earn income, how do I then assign little jobs or descriptions, or job descriptions that they call it, to my money, to tell my money, this is how you're going to be spent. I allocate a percentage to saving. I put something down for retirement. I have something towards debt if I have debt, right? I put something towards investing. But you're actually telling your money where to go and living within your means, right?
How do I parcel it out? Okay, I'm paying me first.
Yes.
So should I open a separate account to pay me? Or should I just say, okay, I will not use this amount? So
you should have a separate account. So let's use the example, if you are doing a budget, it's a very simple budget. We're using this example of 50, 30, 20 budget. 50% goes towards your needs or your living expenses. 30% goes towards your wants. These are things that you have full in control of. And then the 20% is money for your future self, which can be split between savings and investing, retirement planning, etc. So we have those percentages outright. So what you will do in the case now of savings, which is the 20%, is that you have to have you should have a separate account for your savings. Never have all of your money in one account, because this is where now the co-mingling happens, and then you cannot clearly see whether or not you're actually meeting your goals. So you have a separate account for your savings. You give that savings a job as well. What is the purpose of my saving? What is the amount I want to save in my savings account? What is the deadline to save this money by? And then once you save that money, then you celebrate yourself, right? But you have a separate designated account for your savings, and once you reach that goal, then you go to the next goal.
Whew, I don't feel so bad anymore. I don't feel so bad anymore.
You're good.
Well, so thank you, as always.
You're most welcome.
You are so insightful and you're so good at doing what you do. You make it so simple. The 50, 30, 20 rule, and you should be okay for a little while. But it requires you to have a discipline.
Yes.
Be persistent and insistent that it gets done.
That's right.
And then you will see the benefits flow therefrom.
Yes. And give yourself grace as well.
Yeah. Give yourself some grace. And don't think it's too late to start.
No.
Every start leads you to somewhere.
That's
indeed.
right.
Thank you as always.
You're most welcome.
See, a purpose life. And there it is. You can find her on socials. You can contact Marsha Armstrong any minute of any day, and she will be happy to work with you. She's a finance strategist. She's a business consultant. She's also an author and a workshop facilitator. She's good. And I commend her to you indeed. As always, good to see you, my friend. All the best for you for 2026.
Thank you so much.
You're welcome. You're welcome. We're taking a break here, folks. We're coming back in just a moment.
Morning, morning, morning. Good morning. Good morning to you.
Some ask, what makes Barbados so special? We at Mornin Barbados say it's you, our exceptional youth. You are talented, resilient, and inspirational. You are the epitome of the Barbadian spirit, testing the boundaries of your creativity. If you are an entrepreneur, artist, baker, designer, author, or have done anything you think should be highlighted, email us at morninbarbados@cbc.bb. Let us show the world our exceptional Bajan youth.
From the beautiful shores of the gem of the Caribbean, Barbados, home of the amazing Harrison's Cave, the tantalizing Oystins Bay Garden, our historic garrison, the indigenous road tennis, and the friendliest people in the world. We are 94.7 FM, the ultimate Bajan experience.
There is a saying, you can find a Bajan anywhere. Are you a Bajan living abroad?
Morning, morning, morning. Good morning. Good morning to you.
Minutes now to go to the hour of 8 o'clock. We started the show this morning asking you to take some time to think about where the Caribbean is in relation to its adoption of artificial intelligence and other forms of technology. Is the Caribbean moving too slowly on technology or AI? And we gave you some options. Of course, they're not exhaustive. You can continue to give way in on this. Is it yes, we're falling behind? Is it that we're moving at the right pace? Should we be more cautious? And do you hold a position that I just don't know enough about AI? Well, the Caribbean Telecommunications Union, I'm sorry, I just missed my train of thought for a moment, has embarked on a report taking a look a little deeper in this. And so a report has been compiled and presented looking at the way forward towards harmonized AI policies and the recommendations for the Caribbean. That task force was chaired and is chaired by Dr. Craig Ramlal, and he has with him this morning from the CTU their cybersecurity consultant in Dr. Shernan Osepa. Gentlemen, good morning.
Good morning. Thank you for having us.
Morning. Good. Thank you for joining us. Let's break down the report, Dr. Ramlal. Talk to me a little bit about, one, the purpose of the task force, and what does the report reveal?
Okay. So the task force was created from government members across the countries of the CARICOM, private sector, NGOs, CSOs, and so on. And the idea was to take all of these experts and put them in the same place so that we can develop the regional harmonization guidelines and policies for artificial intelligence for the CARICOM nations. It was endorsed by the CTU's Council of Ministers in September, and so we do have a resolution for adoption. And with this, we have created this interim report, which you have in front of you now, and we are seeking feedback on this interim report so that we can move into a final report that then moves into a declaration for the CARICOM member states.
Give me the structure of that report and the areas that you were able to do some study on.
Based on the 39 members and what we looked at, we came out with 5 preliminary recommendations. We have to establish a harmonized regional AI policy and governance architecture, of which we spoke about. These are anchored in principles of human-centric rights, ethical and inclusive principles. We are also looking at strengthening data governance and digital infrastructure. And so with this, we are looking to protect Caribbean data. We are looking to improve interoperability and foster regional resilience. We are looking at the innovation and the sector development, where we want to catalyze innovation. We want to look at how do we look at our priority sectors, which would be things like tourism, agriculture, and so on. And how can we structure innovation funds? How can we structure regulatory sandboxes and support for localized AI solutions? We normally have AI solutions that we adopt from abroad, but we are looking at how do we develop these AI solutions in-house. Not saying that nothing is wrong with the stuff abroad, it's just saying that we need to build some of these things in-house. We're also looking at human capacity building. This includes education reform, teacher training, AI literacy at all education levels, including secondary school, primary school, and so on. Lifelong learning pathways and research hubs. And finally, we are looking at multi-stakeholder engagement and governance, where we are proposing a national AI advisory mechanism and a regional Caribbean AI forum.
Dr. Osepa, within all of this, we're talking about technology, and people see today that people use technology for nefarious reasons as well. As a cybersecurity expert, what are the guardrails do you see needed to be built into the way forward at the Caribbean Telecommunications Union as it relates to the Caribbean's adoption of artificial intelligence generally?
Okay, first of all, thanks. Thanks for calling me doctor, but I'm not doctor, just Shernan Osepa. Maybe in the future I will have that title, but for now it's just Mr. Sherman Osepa. So yes, when we look at the Caribbean, we are facing some very specific challenges in the Caribbean. And what we're doing at the CTU, the Caribbean Telecommunications Union, is to see when we have new developments, for example, this artificial intelligence discussion that is ongoing all around the globe, how can we take full advantage of it? And this is exactly what we're doing with this task force. So to coming back to your question, and Dr. Ramlal did mention it previously, we are facing some very specific challenges in the Caribbean. And everything that we're doing with this task force is to see how we can address these very specific challenges. For example, climate change is one of the areas that Dr. Ramlal didn't mention, but it's also very important in this part of the world. How can we use artificial intelligence to at least let us know what is happening to get better prepared with respect to everything that is happening in the region?
There's a view that artificial intelligence is just consensus thinking. It pulls from information fed into a space by a number of different operatives, and then a consensus is given. Is that dangerous, or is that something that we should not necessarily frown upon?
Can I go? Can I take this one?
Sure.
Yes, go ahead.
So my area has been in AI since 2011. In fact, the University of the West Indies has been studying AI. St. Augustine campus has been studying AI since the 1980s. So this is not a novel or a new idea. It's not that we saw ChatGPT and then we decided to start studying these items. We have been doing this for absolute decades now. The consensus discussion, I've heard that from time and time again. And the idea comes from these large language models that represent the fourth hype cycle of the AI wave that we are currently in the world. The third was with image recognition models and object detection models, and now we are on language models. And how they work is they take as much data, text data as possible, and you feed them into a model and you train the model on this, and you see the consensus or what are the most averaged amount of data that comes out from the world, and that is what is output from these language models. So I get the idea that people will say that it's based on the consensus of the world, and it's based because the knowledge of the world, and when you consensus all of that information, that is what is highly probable to be output. But I would also say that there are mechanisms called alignment. There are mechanisms like reinforcement learning, fine-tuning, and so on, that we implement in training these models. And so it is not the case that it is always consensus, because we can guide these models to very safe ways to output the correct information, one, and to output safe information so that it doesn't cause any harm, or it doesn't cause any biases or anything like that. So that being said, I do not agree fully with the statement that that these language models are consensus-based.
The general behavior of the Caribbean man is to let's wait and see. Let's have other people test this and see how they react to it or how the deal works for them, and then we will perhaps consider following. If, from where you sit, if we do not look at this critically now, what is it that we stand to either lose or to be damaged by?
So in terms of, we have already lost opportunity from not capitalizing this in the past. One of the reasons why we have lost opportunity is that we do not have the funding mechanisms, we do not have the capital to invest in large-scale AI development modes. We do not have the billions of US that is required to build the infrastructure that will build us another ChatGPT or another Gemini or Claude. And nor should that be the case, that we have to attempt to build these kinds of models, these general purpose type of models. What we are actually aiming toward is developing narrow intelligent models that can help us out for specific niche industries, like Mr. Osepa has said, like climate resilience. There's also financial services. I was watching your show earlier. There's also health. That sector can greatly benefit from models that we build in-house, agriculture and tourism. So we cannot wait anymore. This is not a case where the Caribbean has to stop and hope that a solution is built, and then we take the solution and modify it, because we are not even getting the information or the tools necessary to modify that solution for us. We have to build these things in-house. We have to solve our own problems in-house. So I hope that answers the question to some extent.
Well, yeah, it does. Mr. Osepa, do you want to add to that?
Yes, one of the things that all of us have received from, you may call it what you want, but okay, let me call it the good lords, is to have a brain. All of us have a brain. Maybe we don't have the funds, maybe we don't have the money, but at least we can think, right? So in the region, in the Caribbean, we do have some very specific challenges. Let's think, what are the challenges that we are facing? And then we're going to look at how can AI help us to address these challenges. So although we don't may be having all the funds like our friends in Europe or in the USA, but we do have a brain. Let's think, let's just think. And once we have come, let's say, identify certain challenges that we're facing, and then we will be looking for the solutions. So that's basically what I would like to add.
In other words, let's leverage what we have. Let's leverage what we're really good at. And so this report is now as an interim report. And so, Dr. Ramlal, you were saying that you want to hear public feedback on what you've delivered so far. How can we do so?
There is a website that you can download the report at. It's ctu.int. And further to that, you can send emails to caitf@ctu.int. Based on the feedback that you have for the report. It is very necessary that we receive feedback for this report. We are going to do 4 public consultations in the discussion of the report. Once we have feedback from the report, that draws on, that builds the final report. That is our final recommendations that will come out, that we will present to the Caribbean states. Once that is done, the governments will then look at the final report, look at the recommendations, and determine which recommendations can work and which recommendations cannot work. And then we are looking forward to have a declaration being signed. All of this has to happen within June 2026 at the Caribbean AI Forum. It will be a conference that we will hold for this final report. After that, we will then look at implementation of the recommendations and what the Caribbean needs going forward. How do we get these things going? What is the timeline and so on?
All right. And so we want to encourage you to go to the Caribbean Telecommunications Union's website, and you will see all the links to the report. Read it for yourself. There are 5 pillars on which that report is built. Take a look, and you'll see there's some watch meetings coming up as well. If you look at the screen right now, ladies and gentlemen, once that's the website to which you go, read the report and share your view on this interim report looking at towards harmonization of AI policies and recommendations for the Caribbean. It's important that we all lend our voice, lend our opinion to the report, because it guides decisions that need to be made a little further up and a little later on as well. And so, gentlemen, I really want to commend you and your teams on the efforts that you have put into compiling this report so far, and I can't wait to see where the next steps will lead for the Caribbean as well. These are exciting times ahead indeed. Dr. Craig Ramlal and Mr. Shernan Osepa, gentlemen, thank you so very much, and all the best going forward.
Thank you.
Thank you.
You're very welcome indeed. All right. All right. Look at the time. Time is getting away from me. Just want to remind you, by the way, that today Q in the community is at the Clock Tower. Q in the community is at the Clock Tower, the Garrison. Q in the community starts at 11 this morning and runs till you're ready to go home. And literally that's what happens. The buses will leave gate number 1 in the Granville Williams terminal and will run at 11 o'clock, the first bus, and it will run every hour on the hour to the Clock Tower. Dario is the driver. So hit Dario up and tell him hi, and Dario will take you safely there and bring you back. It's as simple as that. The last bus will leave and bring you back to your terminals as well. So that's for today's Q in the community. The Clock Tower, the Garrison. That's where I'm sure you will all be till you are tired today. And a big thank you as well to the National Conservation Commission, who have also allowed us to really have these mini palms in our studio. If you like to be around green and green, lush green, then that's what it is right there. Remember, from the heart of Barbados, Codgerton Plant Nursery and Garden Centre grows the greenery that shapes our island. They have vibrant flowers, shade-giving trees, coastal resilient shrubs, and every plant that is carefully propagated each month to make Barbados beautiful, climate resilient, and inviting. So whether you're planting a park, refreshing your garden, or adding colour to a beachfront, your landscape begins at Codrington. And I encourage you to take it up today. And having said all of that, that's it for today. My little crew joins me saying to all of you, have a terrific Thursday. By the will of the Lord, we'll see you tomorrow. Take care. Bye-bye.
Wake up, wake up, wake up, wake up. Barbados, get up. Good morning.